Welcome to Mommionaire Digital Marketing Podcast, where we gather to learn how to use online strategies to build our direct marketing business. Through this podcast, you will be learning how to create offers, funnels, and storytelling so that you can create value for your potential customers as well as your downline. Enjoy the show. Today I'm coming live because I want to talk about something that is very dear to me, and that is to make a decision to change your life. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I'm in New York and I am looking at what's going on around us with COVID, and I'm in a safe place because I'm staying with a family member and she's very strict about being quarantined. And as I go outside and I look at that immigrant life, because I'm in Hamilton Heights, and I am looking at what it is to be an immigrant. And I know I wrote something yesterday about my own experience, because when we were 19, my brother, sister and I, we moved back to the Bahamas, and a year later, we came back here. And that experience was really humbling and embarrassing, but it was an experience that actually changed me as a person, because at that time I was very much, really seeking God to find out what God wanted for my life. And I had a specific date that God had put in my heart. And I remember not telling my siblings about that date until the month approached. And then I told them, this is the date that we're leaving the Bahamas. And at that time, we had beautiful clothes and really beautiful items at our home. We gave everything away to our church and to a church member in Freeport. And we took a cruise ship and went to the Bahamas. We didn't have a lot of money. Unfortunately, we weren't too smart at that time. We were young and had made a lot of money and didn't know how to use money properly because we weren't taught about that. And I remember believing that we were going to find our pot of gold the minute we reached Florida. And when we reached Coral Gables, we had a really rude awakening, because guess what? We didn't find a pot of gold. So the first night we stayed at a Holiday Inn, and the second night we slept in the streets. Yes, 3 well-dressed children. At that time I was 21, my brother was 19, and my sister was 17. We all slept in the streets. It was really embarrassing and humbling, because we were in a beautiful place, Coral Gables. If you've ever been to Coral Gables, it's gorgeous. A beautiful place with penniless. And I kept thinking, we're going to find our pot of gold. And it could have been, it was a moment, actually, I remember sitting on the bench and it was dripping rain. And I kept saying, God, why do you do this? Why can't you just kill us and this is it, we're done. And at that moment, that strong faith started to diminish, right? Because sometimes when you're taking that leap of faith to do something, then suddenly you get to that point when things get hard, you want to give up. And you shouldn't give up, because when you're at that point of faith, the point that you're going to develop as a person is that point where you hit hardship. And that's what developed your character. And I looked at my life, and that very moment in my life developed me. And I understand the story of what it means to be an immigrant and to start from nothing. And that's basically what we did. Well, with the help of our family put together to bring us back to New York, and that was helpful. But we learned what it meant as 3 young children, to trust God, to take the step forward, and to do what we needed to do. And when we came here, we started from the bottom up. I know I started before I left the Bahamas, I was a front office manager. And when I got the position at the Waldorf Astoria, I started from a reservation sales agent and worked my way up. And I will tell you, I think the reason why they put me at the front desk, they realized that these incentive programs, I was making too much money, that I'm good at closing. And they were like, okay, we're going to bring you to the front office. And I remember when the management at the Waldorf Astoria, we moved to the New York Palace, which is now Lut Palace. I wouldn't have known until I went and showed my daughter this place. Basically, I worked my way to becoming the sales coordinator for the Plaza Athénée in Paris because of my work ethic. And I was willing to work hard, to put in the hours, to do whatever it takes. So when I look at New York and being in New York, and my daughter and I, we went to Macy's the other day, and I saw this man dancing, and I saw him having joy. And this is a guy from Salvation Army, and usually in front of, Macy's, you see the Salvation Army person standing there really bored. He was dancing, and he was dancing the song Because I'm Happy. And it just hit me because when I spoke to him, he had an accent. I knew what he was, an immigrant, because he knew that no matter what, he was here, and he was here to do something for his life and for his family. A lot of people leave their country because, you know what? It could have been so easy to stay home, to eat food and do whatever they wanted to do. But they made that sacrifice because they thought of a better future for their family. And that's the reason why many immigrants came here. That's why I left Bahamas, because I knew there was something better out there for me. I've lived in the US for a long time, went back to the Bahamas for a year, and then realized that God had something better for me and my siblings, and we moved here. I thought I was going to be a millionaire. I have not become a millionaire yet. But I moved with this faith in my heart, knowing that God had a purpose for me. And I think back, had I not made that decision, little did I know, because at that time I was a front office manager and a sales representative for a travel company. The hotel closed down a few months later and no one knew. No one in the Bahamas knew. But I took that leap of faith. I don't know what would have happened to me. Think about the hurricanes that happened in the Bahamas. Last year, I took my daughter to the Bahamas, and she saw the devastation of the places that I was saying that were so beautiful that doesn't look beautiful because it's been destroyed. I wonder what would have happened to me, with the last hurricane. So what I'm trying to say is taking that step forward is not easy. One of my friends, she commented and she said it takes grit. Yes, as an immigrant, we have grit. We have grit to sacrifice, to make the sacrifice we need to make for our family. It's not going to be easy. Not every sacrifice is easy and decision is easy. But once you make that decision to stick with it and to go forward, and then when you hit the hard time, still stick with it with joy in your heart. And, it could be hard. It's hard for a lot of people right now. I'm in New York and I'm looking at people who are suffering, but I'm looking at immigrants who are still keeping that joy, still being kind. I know one of my cousins, she asked me, she was like, people are nicer where you're in Maryland, aren't they? And I was like, oh, you would think that, people would have all the money and everything is well, but the people who are doing well, they're fighting, right? They're fighting each other to keep the status or whatever it is. And I'm finding people being so nice to us here in New York because you know what? Because they know that what it means to be human, to have that heart. New Yorkers can be tough and strong, but we have a heart. Like when we see someone struggling, we help pick them up. And to see that, and today I just really wanted to talk about that. Having a vision, being strong and focusing on your purpose, focusing on who you are. Yesterday, I had an experience that really opened up my mind. And the experience was that I was walking and I saw this immigrant man with a Spanish book as he has a table full of things to sell. We are hustlers, what can I tell you? And he had a book talking about how to become a millionaire. And I thought about that process. How many people have left their country to come here? It could have been comfortable for them, but they left their country to come here to make a better life for themselves and for their family. And out of this one decision that they've made, they've been able to put their children through college, give their children better opportunities in a lifetime because they made that right decision. And that's what I wanted to encourage you, to make a decision with your life. Many people are starting to plan for their new year. I just feel in my bones that we're in a brink of breakthrough for those people who have started their business, for those people who are pushing forward. We're in that midst of breakthrough. Stick through this and you will break through this time and the blessings will pour down. I really feel it in my bones. I just feel like there's some great changes that's going to come. But if we have to stick with our decision to move forward. So I hope this word encouraged you about having grit, making a decision to go forward for your life, for your family. Remember this, a friend of mine actually wrote a message, and I know her father very well. And her father is a pastor. Her mother and her father came here, and they struggled to build a Haitian church. They have one of the biggest churches in Brooklyn, New York. And to think about that, and he has left behind a legacy for his family. So I want you to understand that one decision that you make and that decision forward that you make doesn't only impact you, but it impacts your family. I look at the decisions that I make because I work hard. I work early morning to late night. Even my cousin who's looking at me here, and she's like, I don't know how you do it. But I know I am doing it not only for my future, for my daughter, for my grandchildren, for my great-grandchildren, creating that path so that she knows that, hey, no matter what, keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing as a person, and keep focusing on your dreams. Because as you focus on your dreams, you will surely get there. You know, for many people who come from the Caribbean, I've watched my aunts. They never worked in their lives before they came here in the United States. And when they came here, they worked. They made $100. I remember my aunt making $100 a week. My uncle making $100 a week. And they literally saved their money and bought a house. Okay? I don't know how they did it. They bought a house in Queens, New York. But that's because they had grit. They understood. They were focused on their vision. Yes, there's a learning curve and it could be hard, but focus on your vision. Focus on what God put in your heart. Focus on who you need to become and become that great person. Use all the talents that God gives you. I have 10 talents, and I'll tell you this, I've used every single one of them, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here today. But I did it with faith and joy, and like that man who was dancing because I'm happy because I know there's a better future ahead for me and for my daughter and for the next generation that follows me. So I hope this word encouraged you today, because I was so encouraged. There's always a purpose why we're here, right? So I'm so glad that I did come to New York, because it just revived me and made me know who I am, where I came from, and where I'm going. So I hope this is a word of encouragement, and I just wish you a wonderful day. Thank you. And if you like to say anything, please make a comment, or you can share it with your friends as well, because I just want to encourage you. Goodbye and thank you. Bye-bye. If you would like to get more information on how to build your business using online strategies as well as social media, please go to our website, mommillionaireDigitalMarketing.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe and also make some comments of what you would like to hear in our next show. Thank you. Bye-bye.